today's episode. I'm your host, Sabiha Mukadam, a fee-for-service planner. Today, we are tackling a very sensitive topic, which is very close to anyone under 30's heart. We are looking whether Gen Z's future is broken or not. I'm saying that Gen Z's future isn't broken, but it is optional. If you're a Gen Z in Canada right now, financial pessimism doesn't feel like a dramatic overreaction. It feels entirely earned. Rent in Toronto and Vancouver is bordering on the absurd. Homeownership feels like a myth. Student loans just linger. And every week there's a new headline asking if the economy even works for anyone under 30. Against that backdrop, telling someone to be financially optimistic sounds completely out of touch. But here's a claim worth sitting with. Pessimism isn't a neutral emotional state when it comes to money. It becomes an active financial strategy, whether you intend it to or not. See, every financial decision we make carries a quiet assumption about the future. When you invest, you assume companies will be creating value in future. When you save, you assume your future self is worth protecting. When you learn a new skill, you assume opportunities will exist for you for tomorrow. But choosing not to participate or saying I'm watching until things make more sense is also a decision. In practice, it usually means holding cash on the sidelines and willingly giving up the single greatest advantage your generation actually has: time. This isn't a moral critique, it's just mechanics. Look at the historical data. Every single economic crisis felt permanent in that moment. None of them stopped long term compounding growth. Global markets have absorbed world wars, Great Depression, stagflation, tech crisis, and global pandemics. And this isn't an argument that markets are fair or smooth, they aren't. It's an argument that long term participation has historically outperformed pessimism disguised as caution. And as Canadians, this matters. Because even our retirement systems, the Canada Pension Plan, and our local capital markets are hardwired into this exact same global growth engine. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's great. But a stock chart does not help me buy a house right now. And you're completely right. That frustration is 100% valid. Canada is facing a brutal structural housing crisis. Pointing to long term charts does not lower your rent or magically manufacture a down payment for you. But we have to protect a vital distinction here. Affordability is a distribution problem, long term growth is a capacity problem. They interact, but they aren't the same. When we collapse them into one giant problem, we arrive at a really dangerous conclusion. Like assuming that because housing is broken, building a portfolio through equity funds is pointless. Here's the uncomfortable truth: the markets do not pause while you wait to feel convinced. Gen Z is projected to live longer lives than any cohort in the human history. That longevity changes the entire math. It means retirement lasts longer and the penalty for opting out grows earlier exponentially. Small microscopic planning decisions made at 22 compound to massive leverage by the time you're 62. You don't need absolute certainty to act intelligently. You just need exposure over time. So let's reframe what financial optimism actually means for a realist. It doesn't mean everything will magically work out. It doesn't mean ignore inequality. Optimism is simply staying exposed to positive sum outcomes without pretending certainty exists. In practice, for a young Canadian focused on long-term planning, that looks incredibly boring. Automating small contributions into broad, low-cost global equity funds, maximizing tax-sheltered accounts early, using structural tools like TFSA and the First Home Savings Account (FHSA), aggressively building your skills alongside your capital, and treating daily financial doom scrolling as background noise. That isn't blind faith, it's probability management. The economic glass is cracked. Some people got to start pouring into it much earlier than us. Canadian housing policy has undeniably failed the younger cohorts. All of that is true. But treating the glass as completely empty solves absolutely nothing. Opting out entirely guarantees only one thing: that you won't participate in the upside, while those with capital and longer perspective quietly do. Optimism isn't a personality trait, it's a strategic decision to act without guarantees. Because history shows that disengagement carries a devastating compound interest of its own. The future doesn't reward certainty, it rewards participation. Thank you for watching today's video and see you next time.